Hey guys, this is Bailey with Rogers Performance Marine. Today we're down at Quail Lake in southern Utah. I've got Ranger Urban here with me, and we're going to go through everything you need to be legal and safe while you're out on the boat. So what I've got right here on display is the basics that you're going to need to be on the lake and ensure you've got a safe day and you don't have any run into the law. First off, we got a fire extinguisher. What boats have to have a fire extinguisher? Is it every boat on the water?
No, anything that has an enclosed system, so where those gas fuses can not escape. Any boat like that's going to need a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
So if you're just out there with your red gas tanks and out in the open, you're good to go. You don't need it. I still recommend every vessel having one, obviously.
Absolutely,
So it may not be your boat that's on fire, but
yeah, definitely good to have, whether it's for you or, like you said, for another boater. It's good to have on the boat at all time. Next, we got a skier down flag. So you're going to use this when you got kids in the water swimming, or you got people out surfing, wakeboarding, tubing. Is this something I can just leave up on the tower up all the time, or how does this need to be?
Nope. The only time that needs to be displayed is when somebody does fall off their tube or is currently swimming.
Okay.
If you leave it up the entire time, people are going to think there's somebody always in the water.
Okay.
And it's that kind of cry wolf scenario.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so make sure when when the surfer's down, it's up in the water, but as soon as they stand up, they're surfing again, put it back down so people know that you have somebody in the water. Moving over to our paddle. So this is a telescoping paddle. It can change in length depending on the boat you've got. I believe these are required in all boats, correct?
Either that or a spare motor. Even if you do have a spare motor, obviously still recommend having that as well because batteries do die.
Sure. Yeah, so we got a lot of fish boats, a lot of fishermen, they'll have trolling motors on there that would suffice for a secondary motor. But like you said, if there's a mechanical issue or the battery supply is gone, this is a great backup, whether it's your second or third backup. Last thing I've got out here is a personal flotation device. I believe every boat has to have this as well.
Yep, so this is a Type 4 throwable. Anything over 16 feet is required to have one. Once again, recommend every vessel to have it. That's basically your life ring. So if there's an emergency situation, you can actually throw that and get some distance, unlike a life jacket where it's not going to be able to throw.
So is there anything out here that I'm missing right now that's required, has to be in the boat?
So other emergency situation requirements are you're going to need a horn or whistle or some kind of noise-making device. You've got your spare paddle, and then I recommend every vessel also having a bail bucket, just in case you start taking on water, and once again, mechanical stuff does not work with your bilge pump.
Perfect. And we do have life jackets up in the boat. We're going to hop in the boat in a little bit and walk you through a few things in there as far as safety regulations go, but we do have all the life jackets required for this boat sitting inside. So right now I want to walk you guys back to the boat plug. That's the topic of conversation, especially for all new boaters, for getting the plug. Talk about the importance of it, when you put it in, and why you need to pull it out. So we'll go back there and touch on that next. All right, so now at the back of the boat, everybody talks about the boat plug. Everyone's got their story of forgetting to put the boat plug in. So of course you want to put that in before you get launched in the water. But another thing, especially in Utah, you want to make sure you're doing is pulling the boat plug when you get off the water. That should be one of the first things you do when it's hooked up on the trailer, pulled off the lake, boat plug needs to come out. Why is it so important to pull the boat plug out?
So there are a lot of different aquatic invasive species, and they obviously live in the water. So you want to clean, drain, and dry your vessel each time you leave the lake. Pull that plug, get the water out, and don't transport any potential aquatic invasive species.
Yeah, so we see it, from a customer standpoint, you want to leave the boat plug in so you don't forget about it. But like you said, very, very important for our ecosystems here at the lakes to make sure you're pulling that plug, letting all the water drain and dry out of it before you leave the lake, so you're not transporting anything from one lake to another.
All right, so I'm here today with Rogers Marina, and this is one of their demo boats. They are for sale, obviously. Once you purchase a vessel and get the registration in your name, you are also required to have your monthly registration decal along with the year and proper bow numbers, and all of that will be found on your registration. I highly recommend each boater going through the boating regulations, read it cover to cover. It will help you immensely.
So with the registrations, we sell quite a few new boats, and we issue a temporary permit. Will they be allowed to get on the lake with the temporary as well?
Yep, as long as that is on board with them, and once they do get their actual registration paperwork, along with their insurance, that also has to be on board the vessel.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. So now we'll hop up in the boat and show you a few other safety practices inside the boat and go from there. All right, so this boat's got a 17-person seating capacity on it. Do I have to have 17 jackets on board at all time?
Nope, you just need enough life jackets for everybody that's currently on board, and they must be the proper size for each individual. So a child can't wear an adult size life jacket.
Okay, so we've got a lot of customers that ask, we carry these lightweight life jackets, are really comfortable to wear, but I know they're not legal. Why is it important to have a Coast Guard approved vest aside of just meeting Coast Guard regulations?
So each life jacket will have a label here. This one says danger, not a life jacket. You want to make sure when you're purchasing a life jacket, read that label. It's going to say U.S. Coast Guard approved, and there should be a number there. If it says danger, it's not a life jacket, and that's not going to save your life.
Okay, so something like this is what we're looking to have on board. They still make nice, comfortable ones, but we're wanting them to be Coast Guard approved with all life vests on board. All right, so last thing I want to talk about is the control panel on this boat. A few things that each boat should have on board or needs to have on board. It needs to be operational as well. First is going to be the navigation and anchor lights. We need to make sure that we have those on board and they're working. So traveling at night or early in the morning, we can signal to other boaters where we're traveling. Next is going to be the blower. Any boat that's got a sealed engine compartment where fuel and exhaust vapors can't escape naturally, we need to have a blower to get those vapors out of there. Bilge pump we need to have on board. If you're taking on any water for any reason, we need something that's going to be pumping it out. And then lastly, a horn. We need to have some way of signaling other boaters, and the horns, that's what purpose it serves.
Okay, so any boater that's going out on the water this year, I always recommend to read through the Utah boating laws and regulations. This will tell you everything you need to know about being legal and being safe. One big thing I highly recommend is getting to know what each buoy means and the distance and dangers of all this stuff. You are also required to stay 150 feet away from everybody. That includes buoys, other boats. The only time you can ever get closer is if you are going extremely slow.